Sorry about that. I had to switch my device. Welcome back to another session of Truth Enlightened, and I trust that you guys are good. Everything is fine with you, and that this weekend find you in good health, happiness, and that and prosperity. All right. So this week is going to be a little different. I want to talk about something. I want to talk about something that is going on. It might sound a little off. It might sound a little more, have more of a political sound to it. But trust that if you guys stick to the end, that you will see where I'm going with it. The other situation, where I was looking at a video on Facebook, and this guy was I wouldn't say ranting. He was talking about a situation that is going on in Guyana. He was saying that he stopped to give a police vehicle a chance to make a turn, and in so doing, when the vehicle turned, he saw this right-wing policia. This is in Guyana, and it really got to him. He was thinking about Guyanese and how we tends to like embrace everything foreign, and he doesn't think it's right. He was talking about how we have or had Mashimani, a celebration that we used to have, our independence, the Mashimani celebration, and how that they changed that to Carnival. So everything that Guyanese stands for, Guyanese had, is just, we take it and make, we replace it with other people's stuff. So I was listening to that, and I was like, that is so true. But I did not, pay much to it, a thing to it, until I saw another post from, I think the guy name is Paul. I think it's Paul Slow. I don't know if it's the same person that I know. I don't know if it's the same person that I know, but he looked like the same person that was an officer in the Guyana police force. And he was very perturbed about it, and he was voicing his opinion about this situation. For me, when I looked and I saw that, I said, this is real, because he had a picture up there saying, showing the thing. And I said, wow, this is true. And then I went and I Googled it, and I realized that it was true, that this is what's going on, and he was saying that he don't know if the government know about it and all that kind of thing, but why wouldn't the government know, The next thing I was thinking is that the Guyana Police Force is public servant. The police force in any or most country that I know is public servant, and they supposed to serve the public, the teachers, the military, and so on and so forth. And if you're going to make a change like that, why don't you notify the public, get a vote on it, and say, well, look, we want to make a change, right? Because, so what you guys think, or put it to a vote. But first of all, before I go any further, for us to understand the situation and why this making such an impact in the minds of patriotic Guyanese is this. I have to set this foundation so you understand. For those people who do not know Guyana, right? For most people, some people you talk to, they don't know Guyana. They say, when you say Guyana, they think it's Ghana, and it's here and there. So Guyana is a country situated in the most northern side of South America, right? And the continent of South America. It's 83,000 square miles, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a reasonable size considering England, that ruled the world at one point, is only 50 point something square miles. So we're larger than England, right? And just under about 10,000 square miles less than Great Britain of a whole, right? Guyana has, for its neighbors, it has Brazil to the south and southeastern side. It has Suriname to its east and Venezuela to its west. It's a country with less than 800,000 people, and we are it's made up of 6 races, and with most of that, between Indo-Guyanese and called Afro-Guyanese, and the rest make up the percentage. Guyana, for the most part, is not known to many people because we don't have much going on, which could be a good thing, right? Because when we become known is when we had the situation with Jim Jones, right? Now the world know about Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid, and after that we are quiet again. We have our little ups and downs and so on and so forth, but it's not, it never gained that international recognition for any other thing, bad, or good, if you want to call it that. Until now, we have ExxonMobil that is working the oil, and now everybody's beginning to come aboard again on what is Guyana and where is Guyana. To our west, our neighbors to the west, they have been claiming 2/3 of Guyana since 1899. 1899. They lay claims to our border in what you call in the region called the Essequibo region. And the Essequibo region is a very fertile, has a very fertile land. It's very rich in gold and diamonds. That's where all the mining take place for gold. And, It's where it's very forested, the timber and all of that. So Venezuela is claiming from since that time. So the matter went to the World Code, the United Nations, and now it's in the ICJ, the International Court of Justice. At one point in the 70s, the push was so hard that, everybody believes or is told that Venezuela is about to invade Guyana. They want to invade Guyana. Thus, the founder leader, LFS, he formed different military and paramilitary organizations, such as even in school, the kids was had to be, in a fee with, kind of military training. That's where he formed the YB and NCC, the GNS and the GPM, right, which was aid to the GDF, which is the Guyana Defense Force. I'm saying that, I'm laying these foundations to let you know that why some people are going to be very upset when you hear things like the government saying that the police force, is going to be marked up. And look, I print out one of the thing here where it says the Guyana police force, and its markings, right? Policia, right? It changed to, they have Policia market. The president is saying that the reason why it's changed to that because of we have a reasonable amount of Venezuelans in the country. I do not know of any country who would change the name on the law enforcement vehicle, right, from that original native language or the original language that they speak to any other language of any other country to facilitate the few people that live in there. None. New York, which has a little of every country in the world, right? Some believe it's 180 something, 194, 200 and something countries. Oh, well, you believe New York is home to almost every country in the world. Yet, you do not see any police vehicle driving around with any other markup, right? Apart from police in English, right? I read an article where the president of Guyana is saying that every person must learn to speak Spanish because we are a growing Spanish community or whatever. And at time they're going to teach it in every secondary school, and it's going to be a must. It's going to be added to the curriculum. In other words, it must be a second language. Where is that coming from? When the very country is at your throat for your land, why should you be adapting to suit them? And the thing that drives me more to say something about it is because yesterday afternoon I was looking and I saw a video by one of the reporters there, a guy by the name of Gordon Mosley, who posted up a video with a boat about 100 feet long, or how much, letting off the refugees from Venezuela on the shores of Guyana, which is not far from civilization, somewhere on the west coast, which if it was yesterday, And saw another post where the president was at an opening ceremony for a mall, right? So nobody is there to stop them. First of all, I must let you know that as Guyanese, we have a way about us. We reach it out to foreigners. Guyanese will take the clothes out of the back to give to strangers, which is not a bad thing. We are known for that. Guyana is a place where you can come and feel welcome. Nobody asks you whether you're legal or illegal. So we don't have a problem with that. Some people might even take the illegal people and store them, put them up in their houses. That's how Guyanese function. So there's no need for any extra activities like we have to teach Spanish. You have to teach Spanish in school. And if they're going to be hiring people in the future for the GPF, which is the Guyana Police Force and other forces, they must be able to speak Spanish. Crazy. That sounds crazy to me. And then we have a situation where you also see a video where this guy, I never knew his name. I like his jokes, but I learned yesterday what his name was, right? I think it's some major hype or something like that. And he was sitting in a group of people and they were asking questions, and he was saying the reason why Guyanese say chicken curry instead of curry chicken and all of that. And then he said the reason for that is because they're not Caribbean. And it seems like if I'm coming up, but I should have stated this earlier. That's why I want people to know exactly where is Guyana, what is Guyana, because people are not educated about Guyana much. And he was saying that the Caribbean adopt Guyanese. So that's how the only way we tolerate them. And a lot of people was on that as well, because everybody knows, first of all, one, like I said, Guyana is in South America, geographically located in South America, right? But socially and culturally, Guyana is Caribbean, right? And we become Caribbean because of who colonialized us, right? It was the British who colonialized the Caribbean, and along with Guyana, which is the only English-speaking country in South America, right? Even the head of the Caribbean government are based in Georgetown, Guyana, which is called the CARICOM Secretariat. So how could you come up with something like that, And there's a lot of people, I understand, he had a show in Guyana and they canceled it and so on. I can't be mad with them, but that's the thing, And for the president to be making laws and changes like that, he himself don't even know where he's at. He don't even know what he's running, because you have a country that speaks English. Anybody else come, they got to adapt. If you want to know what's going on and be hip to what's going on, then you speak the language. You have to speak, the English, not us adapting to you. And most of these people are refugees, coming in. And this angers a lot of people because, especially the folks my age, older, especially young, a little younger, who know what went on. Like, in the 70s when Venezuela was hotly pursuing Guyana borders, trying to get a piece of get the Essequibo 2/3 of Guyana. That is when these paramilitaries were formed by the founder leader, and he brought in Chinese. A lot of Chinese restaurants went up. There was a saying, Guyana looking just like China. There was a song about it, right, by a guy called Mark Bryan. Guyana looking just like China. A lot of Cuban, because he was communist, he brought in the Cubans and all that. So most of these restaurants you see, a lot of people believe was just restaurants. A lot of these people were special forces, you know, and there's where he formed the military. And if you wanted to go to, it made it in such a way, because we don't have the population, but the message was every citizen a soldier. If you wanted to be a public servant, you had to join the GNS, which was the Guyana National Service. I joined the Guyana People's Militia and the GNS because I wanted to defend my land, to defend my country. And when you're patriotic as that, you know, come on, I love my country. This is what I would have been defending my country for, it, you know, or die for my country for, just to have somebody, from the way it's looking, sell the country out. That looks like sold out. And I'm going to get to that a little later as to the reasons why you don't follow these people, you know, these politicians. It's just like when the U.S. bring home the troops from Afghanistan, you had a lot of people who served in Afghanistan were very upset, right? They feel like it was a slap in their face, and you can't be mad with them because people come back messed up in their head, you know, come back without limbs and all these kinds of things. Many people die, watch their bodies die, you know, think that they're fighting for a cause just to abandon the cause, you know. It's not, it wouldn't go well with the people who've been there. Now, if you have never been there, then it might be that you don't know what it is. You know, you have a lot of younger folks who come up and say, man, after all, he's doing good for the country, right? They're going to put up a little thing here and a shack here and streets there and roundabout here. And that's to show sun in your eyes, right? Just to get everybody feeling good. Yes, the government is doing so much. They have the money to do that and more. You know, you have the money to do that. With the oil, the money that they're getting from the oil alone, right? And my prediction is that it's going to meet a situation whereby all these people is going to come in, you know, because as long as they're carrying on like that, they're going to feel welcome, right? With that boatload that pull up, there's many, many more to come. And what is going to happen is that is going to be a large presence of refugees that the government is going to turn around and tell the people, well, here, we got to we got to find money to take care of these people, and they're overburdening the system and so on. That would be an opportunity then for them to take more, right? That's showing dust in your eyes. If another thing, these structures that they're building, they're not even putting security, they're not securing it. But you hear people saying, Guyanese, y'all protect your own, don't mess it up, don't do this, don't do that. Well, which part of the world, especially those places where there's infrastructures that serve the community, that is being left on its own? No part, right? No part. And if that happens, very soon, it becomes they're destroyed, because People are not angels, right? We're living in a sinful world, a world where someone's going to be happy about what they see, and then some is going to be like, I don't give a damn, and people are going to do stuff. So if you're doing like what they do on the Kingston Seawall, and you're not going to have security, you're not going to have people collecting the trash and all these kind of, what's going to happen to it? You know, it's going to be vandalized. So this is another opportunity, right? All of these I'm looking at as opportunities for them to do as they please. And looking at it, you know, they're going to come back and tell you different things, reasons why they can't spend money on you now because they have to take care of this and take care of that, right? So somebody is in their pockets. These people got deep pockets, man. You know, who knows? Because if it was yesterday that video was recorded by Gordon Mosley, where these people coming ashore, it's just few days after he make these announcements about Guyana, where Guyanese would have to learn Spanish, and they're going to they're marking up all the police vehicles in Spanish and all these kind of things. What kind of coincidence is that they now turn up on your shores like that? They're watching, they're seeing, even if they're not inviting them literally, they're seeing what's going on. The Guyanese people are very tolerable. You know, even the government is stupid enough to accommodate us like that. You know, change everything to suit us. So my thing to, you know, the Guyanese population is to watch and pray. Watch, you know, what's going on, and don't be caught up in the foolishness. Don't be caught up. Don't get rebellious physically. Don't do that. But at the same time, do not allow yourself to be carried away with all these, you know, foolishness that they're throwing in your face. In the meantime, that smoke screen, that's enough for them to, you know, blind you for a moment while they're doing what they're supposed to do. Guyana doesn't have 1 million people, even before there was oil. And everybody know I don't be on this political. This is not even political. This is just being a concerned citizen. Even before there was oil, the Guyanese people should have been taken care of because of our population and our natural resources. They had a company came in there. They brought in, but not under this government, but the other government. And this company, I think it was Omai, who was carting out gold, taking out the gold by the tons. And they were accepting 5%. 5% of all that. You know, and we have green art. We're the only country in the region that produced the green art timber. You know, and a lot of people need that kind of wood because it lasts for years, over 100 years in water and anywhere else, right? We have that. We have sand, we have bauxite, we have manganese, we have diamond, we have gold, we produce rice, sugar, rum, molasses. Forget about the oil, because I'm going to tell you something, that a time is going to come when the oil is not going to, because everybody now going green. You hear the talking about green initiatives, clean energy and all that kind of thing. So after a time when all these big industrialized nations start to push towards electric vehicles and all of that, what's going to happen? And then they will have the opportunity to tell you that, well, you see, it's not us, it's a global thing. You know, it's a global thing. But in the meantime, they have already fortified themselves, right? So we have to be educated about situation, and the biggest education, right, comes from knowing the Creator. Because when you know your Creator, when you know the Creator, you know how you stand. You know who is really in control. You know exactly who are the one you're supposed to be depending on. None of these people, because the harm of flesh will fail, right? You dare not trust your own. It's only by God and through God we would be able to stand the test of time, because there's hard times ahead, right? It's going to look good for now, because the thing is, when you're going to be, you don't even have to open your borders. You don't even have to open it. If something going on with your neighbors, the people are going to come in. They're going to swarm and come in. You don't have to tell them, they're going to come in. And we must be prepared to treat them in a humane way. You understand me? But not as from a governmental standpoint and a leadership standpoint. Tell them, come, we're preparing for you. I know we have the room to accommodate. Like I said, England is 50 point something thousand square miles. Guyana is 83,000 square miles, right? There is no thing about the room, because England population is about 50 point something million people, right? In England. So if they have 30,000 square miles less than us and they could accommodate 50 million people, we know what we can hold in Guyana, right? We have the room, but that's not the problem. You don't have the leadership. The leadership is not concerned about the people. Never did, never will. I don't care which leadership. I don't care who you put in there. Nobody is going to be concerned about you and, the common man. It never did. Even outside of Guyana, no part of the world, I don't think these politicians cared about the person at the bottom. Look at how their rules, look at the laws and everything, how it's designed. It's designed to work for the upper class, right? People. So it's not about who is in there. And another thing, right? I was telling somebody, to show you want to know if these politicians is for you, right? You have the oppositions. When the opposition, for the most part, for years, since I was a kid, and I look and I see how people would vote for these people, and then when they go in, they operate, and then you see the same people who vote in. I see my parents, I see they turn around and say, but I didn't looking forward for that for me. I was thinking about that. I learned since then at a tender age that nobody care about you. Nobody's going to do anything for you. They don't care. Most of these people care about themselves. They're out there to make a profit, right? They're there to fortify themselves. In other words, while they're there for the most part, they're saying to themselves, we got to get as much as we can get, as much loot as we can get, before the other party come in. And Buju Banton, I think, sing a song. He said, thief never like to see thief with long bag, right? My interpretation to that, and anybody, you should know what I mean, right? If a thief see you with a long bag, he think you get more loot than him. He becomes jealous. So a lot of these people in politics, that's how they think. They think that the person who went there before has gotten their share and they want theirs now. They're going to get there. But in order to get it, they got to show some sun in your eyes. They got to show sun in your eyes, or create that smoke screen that you wouldn't be able to see, called that blinding the people, just blind you, you know. So be careful, man. And like I said, you know, they have a saying, watch the ride. Because when you're going to put up, you know, we are mainly an English speaking country, Guyana. You're going to put up something like this, you know. You're going to put up something like this. You mark up your police car, you know. I don't know if you guys can see, right? Big Policia, right? You believe you're living in Venezuela, right? Or some other thing. Now, if you're saying that you're gonna do that for the folks because of the percentage of Venezuelans that is in Guyana, why not name it? Why not mark it up in Portuguese? We have even before the Venezuelan starts, we had a large Brazilian population in Guyana, right? Why not mark it up in Portuguese? Why not mark up your police car in Dutch, right? We have our neighbors to the east, Suriname. Why not mark it up in like that? Why not put Chinese marking? We had a large Chinese population, you know. Mark it up like that. Why mark it and why now mark it up in Spanish, policia? Most people know what is a police vehicle, you know, regardless of what it's written in, let alone, you know. So I think the smoke screen is there when they mark it like that, and the police car patrolling the border. When the people coming over, you know, they will see, hey, this is police. They know when to hide, know when to back up, and when to come, you know, when to keep moving forward. That's my thing. You know, I could be wrong, right? But when I watch a video, 2026, where Fernali was sitting down there, and the question was asked about Venezuela. And he repeated. He said he said in that video that I posted up on Facebook. He said on that video that Guyana, right? I can't remember in verbatim, but Guyana must stop thinking of itself as the only English-speaking country in South America and start learning Spanish, right? It's like you're selling out the Guyanese people to the Venezuelans. That's how it looked like. You understand? And do not be deceived. Y'all do not be deceived, because the devil, right, is walking around like a roaring lion seeking whom we may devour. And if you don't watch yourself, you know, you can easily be devoured. I don't care which politician is it, you know, which one of them. I watch them, you know, they talk one thing, and when they get, we should know that by now. Unless you're maybe 20, 25 years old. By any time you're in your 40s, you're supposed to know by now that, does what politicians do. Give you a whole set of fair promises, you know, and what they're doing is good. You see, they're building roads and they're doing these things, but that's not enough. You know, the Guyanese people could hardly get jobs. You know, you go for a job and they're giving you the runaround, but you're bringing in so many more people, you know, illegally, or encouraging that illegal thing. And then what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I heard people were saying they're hiring the Venezuelans in front of them, you know. And I could understand that. I don't doubt that, because that's how it goes, you know. But my thing is, you know, be on the alert. be watchful. And when I say be watchful, you're not only watching with your physical eyes, right? You watch in your spirit, because you can watch with your physical eyes and still don't see. But be ready, to open up and let the Holy Spirit in, that He may direct you in all the choices. I'm not a person who get down into politics too much, but some things you have to deal with and let people know, what's going on, so that, you need to be educated, because lest you fall prey to the devil and all his various traps that he's laying out. Today I was supposed to continue on hatred and what it does to you spiritually and physically, right? And if you continue believing these people and looking to them, hoping that they will deliver you from whatever you're going, then you're going to wind up bitter, and you're going to be hating, and it's not going to do anything for you good. What it's going to do is destroy you. It's then going to destroy you. But as I look and I see out there, I had to get that out, because it was like really, plaguing me. What is really going on? The more I see is the more it's like, what is really going on in Guyana? What are they trying to do? And for me, what they're trying to do is give up. I was watching this guy, like I said, Paul. I think it is Paul Slow. He looks like Paul Slow. I don't know for sure if it's him. I trained under him at TSU, where he was talking, about this same situation, and he had another guy there, Mr. Conway from there, the Guyana police force, who served for 38 years. I was there. The reason why I'm concerned as a patriotic Guyanese, and not every Guyanese is patriotic, mind you. You might be a Guyanese, but you may not be patriotic. But as a patriotic Guyanese, and Rennies, you know that, you served as well, and we served in the Guyana National Service. I was on the People's Militia the first year that they formed, served in the People's Militia. You don't even have that. When they first got into power, this government first got to dismantle all of that. I can remember when they had a space company came in the early 90s and wanted to put up a space station in the Northwest. The Venezuelans say no, right? And they say it's going to affect them. It's going to affect them in a negative way. And imagine you in your house and you want to do something in your house. You want to put an extension or whatever, and your neighbor say no, and that shut it down. I also remember before this oil, there was talking about drilling for oil way back in the late 80s, I think early 90s. The Venezuelans say no, because Guyana is below sea level, and if there be any drilling, they will be draining the Venezuelan wells, right? Yet, this is the country that is that you're selling out to. Let me say it like it is, man. As for me, that's how it appears, right? I could be wrong. But for you to be saying things like that and doing things, they taught Spanish in school when I was going to school. They taught Spanish in elementary school. That's around the time when, Venezuela started up that thing in the 70s, talking about making claims to Guyana in the Essequibo there. They started teaching Spanish. But it was never that you have to know that. And if you don't, it's like you can't get this job and you can't get that job. What kind of behavior is that? You know? That speaks volumes to me about your intention for the Guyanese people. I also know that, that back then, the founder leader, he was pushing hard. When in the Venezuela situation, he pushed most of the troops on the Ancoca border, and spread the wings in such a way to drive fear in the Venezuelan. And, it's not about going to war, it's not about killing anybody, it's standing up for what you think is right, the sovereignty of the nation, protecting the Guyanese people. If you can't offer protection, it's like you're a father of your home and your kids are coming under attack by the neighbor for nothing at all. They're minding their own business, they're in their yard, and they're minding their own business, but they're coming under attack by the neighbor. And you just there saying, well, you know what, you got to start doing what a neighbor do and act like the neighbor acts, speak the neighbor language and leave the neighbors alone. You're basically what you're doing is giving your children to the neighbors to be slaughtered. That's what you're doing. You as a father, you're not protecting your children. So that's where I'm coming from. It's from that front. But a lot of people don't see it. It look like it's harmless. Oh, we should learn Spanish. We need to. Oh, I don't see nothing wrong with that because of our nature as Guyanese. As Guyanese, we reach out. We love people. People could come there and you can go to Guyana for 1 week and wind up staying for 100 years. Nobody cares. Nobody reports you. You don't bother nobody. Nobody don't bother you. You bother them that deal with you on that level. That's how we are. So the thing is, for me, you don't have no need to be pushing the way they are pushing. You're pushing like that because you have deep pockets. That's why I say. That's what I say. Somebody's paying somebody. And like the guy Paul was saying, he said that it's on record where one of the ministers was saying that we should concede to Venezuela. So one of these days you might just wake up and realize that, voluntarily you are part of Venezuela, and, now you have to do as the Venezuelans do. And one of the things that bothers me is with these people, on the other hand, that want to lay claims to other lands, they have, like Venezuela. Venezuela is 300 and something thousand square miles. What you want with Guyana again? You have all that land. You have all of that. It's like, and then you have Russia, right? If I'm not mistaken, the largest one or the largest country in the world want to lay claim to Ukraine. It just goes to show that the Bible is never wrong. The Bible says in the last days, the heart of man will become desperately wicked above all things. And covetousness and all that kind of thing is going to be amongst it. It's like the more you get, the more you want. And I was about to say something about the politicians and the reason why you don't follow them. These politicians, if you let's say you are on the opposition side, you have to be mindful. That's why I say you have to watch. Really and truly, they only want to get in. They only want to get in. Because I'm going to tell you this, it's more than getting in there, and it's about doing right. You hold these people foot to the fire and make sure that they give account. You make representation, and you go out there to the international body and you make sure that they are answerable, like in that same video I posted, said, Irfan Ali said that they talking about the GDP and what they're doing and so on in the health industry and the education industry and all of that. And then he go on to say how it reflects. Not only what we say, it's how it's reflecting. Well, I don't see the reflection. As a matter of fact, he said that every month there is a report as to how much they have received from ExxonMobil. And if that's not reported, that person can go to, the minister go to jail. This is in his words, verbatim. That's what he said, Yet, most of the Guyanese people don't know how much is coming in and the expenditures, what is going out. So these are the things that the opposition got to do, instead of just putting people, and what they do, put people against one another, everybody fighting one another and all that kind of physical. It's not about that. It's about getting the people to be knowledgeable as to what is going on. And then when this this present government that is in there now, when they wanted to go in 2020, they were screaming, blood scream to the international community, getting their attention. If anybody think that they're doing something wrong, and you got to do the same thing. And what you want to see is records of what is what. Don't boycott this and boycott that, because if you're boycotting, you don't get to see nothing, you don't get to hear nothing. But make sure that they are accountable. You're holding them accountable, for the spending, what's coming in, what's going in. If you want to know how much is received and how much is being spent on what you say you're spending it on, right? And it's got to reflect, right? All the talk, I watched this video, I was watching all the talks, but I ain't seeing nothing reflecting, in terms of growth for the Guyanese people. All this, like the health industry, right? How much they're giving to it and all of that. I ain't so far, I ain't hearing and seeing nothing coming down with that. They said they're spending on education. And one of the things, they're going to go all over what about the jobs? What about the jobs? And then you're bringing in all these foreign companies, and you have to make sure that the locals are being hired. Forget about what they're talking about. If you want the administrative body to be thing, it's okay, but groundwork must be by the locals. You understand? So these are the things you guys got to make demands on and for. And if it's not being done, right, whoever you're supporting, you have to make sure that these are the things being raised to them. And if they're not talking like that and doing that, like I said, don't follow these people, right? Follow Jesus, right? Jesus is the only way, right? He's not one of the ways, right? He's the only way to sound mind, and a healthy body, and a right spirit. Because, all flesh is going to fail. Anything that is flesh is going to fail. But Jesus never failed, right? Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him, there's no other, for Jesus is the way. He's the rock of my salvation, right? So upon the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. Don't follow these people. Don't be too caught up, because it's a bunch of talks so that they can get there and fill their pockets, right? It's a bunch of greed taking place all over the world. Whether, I don't care where you live, whether it's in the United States, Canada, Russia, Britain, France, Guyana, the Caribbean, or where, All of them, the politicians, are a bunch of greedy gluttons. They want for themselves. I don't care if you're Republican, you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a PNC, APNU, whatever you may be, right? Want to follow? None of them have your heart, have you at heart, right? And then Jesus is going to come, right? Jesus is going to come. Nothing can go on like this forever and ever. Jesus will come and you will have to give account for you. You can't say about the politicians. You can't say this person or that person make me. You have to give account to God for what you have done. What you have done with the time that I've given you, you would ask. No, I spend that time, right, following John Jones. What John Jones was doing. Was he leaning on me? So the thing is, what I'm doing sometimes, I want to get you guys to come to a higher ground, right? And in order to do that, right, it look like I'm into politics. I'm into no politics, because all of that is tricks. What I'm trying to do is come down on the ground where you're at. And you ever notice, like, if you want to show somebody something and it's in a distance, right, and they're not seeing it, you come shoulder to shoulder, right, and you might let them lean their head on your shoulder or you on theirs, and you point and you said, you see, look, right there it is, yeah. So what I'm trying to do, right, is get as close as possible as I can to you in the spirit and point to you and say, yes, look, man, I'm showing you Jesus. Look, he's leading, right? He is the way, the truth, and the life. No man, right, can go to God except through him, right? He is the door, right? And he's opening up. Look, the door is open. He's calling you. He's calling you, because you're weary, and you're tired of the shenanigans, and you want rest. And you want rest from the madness that the politicians have been leading you and want to lead you to. So if you're still following them, it means that you don't know the way to the rest, right? So in Jesus, there is rest. And I am trying to tell you, right, by coming to you with the politics that you understand on your grounds and saying, leaning my head on your shoulder and say, watch, you see, there he is, right up the road, right? So what you got to do now is buckle up your shoes and start to run. Buckle up your shoes and start to run away back home to God, right? So that you can really and truly rejoice. There is no rejoicing, right, in following these politicians. There is no rejoicing. All you have is misery. And because of that, next week, I'll have to continue to show you what the misery does. It makes you hateful. It makes you hungry. And when you get hateful and you get angry, it corrupts, it disrupts, and it destroys your relationship with the people in your circle. And it eats you out like a cancer from inside out. Like wood ants. Whoever know about wood ants. You see the house or the thing and it's looking good. Right, and then because the wood ants have worked on it and they suck the sap out of it, when you hold it, it's crumble. So if you can allow anybody, right, to get in your space or in your mind, take up residence in your mind without paying rent, right, then you're going to be the sufferer. Not them, right? So these politicians, they're going to do what they're going to do. But in order to be safe, you may not be physically safe from them, right? And even to be physically safe, You have to rely upon the one and only King of Kings and Lord of Lords, who is willing to lead you in a path of righteousness, not for my sake, nor for your sake, but for his name's sake. So, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for he is my staff, right? And he comforts me, right? So that's how you're going to speak when you start following him. You have no fear. I ain't got no fear for none of these people, right? All I have the fear for is Jesus. And I experience him for myself, and I want you to experience him for yourself. So I'm telling you, I'm go all the entire length to show you the reason why I don't follow them. Because when you're going to mark up, right, finally, you're going to put things like this on an English-speaking, primarily, mainly English-speaking country. And you're going to say, Policia, you sold out. You sell me out already. I don't care who say what. And if nobody don't believe that, then they don't have to. But you cause me to believe that, right? This action is thing, And gradually, that's what they've been doing. Everything Guyanese is being tossed under the rug, and everything else is taking precedence. Nowhere in the world you ever hear anything like it. Nowhere. And if anybody knows it, tell me, show me where their country who decide to go name everything after the people who come there. You might have groups of people like in New York. You have little Italy, little Guyana, little Jamaica, little Trinidad, little Arabia, little France, little this. Those are the groups of people who form a community. Not the government saying, well, we're going to establish this, and then now we're going to change. Now, imagine what would happen in New York. Every country in the world, 100, well, where the United Nations are concerned, is just about 94 countries recognized as sovereign, but 92, and you have 2 there that is not within the UN, that is this Vatican City, right? And the other one is in the East, right? But I'm talking literally, there is more countries than that. Like Guyana. Guyana is going to have its seat in the United Nations on January 2024. Right? So probably we're not even recognized like that, but until then. And having said that, the article that I read where your president, the finale, is saying that when we go there, we wanna bring attention to the situation going on in Haiti. Bring attention to the situation going on in your own house. What's going on in your own house. You need to bring that situation along with what's going on in Haiti. Right? So, my friends, my family, brothers and sisters, right? Share this video. Right? You might want to do that. Share it. And if it's your desire to share it and let other people know, right? Thank you guys for tuning in. Good afternoon to you. And I trust that God bless you all and keep you. And keep you in his bosom. And protect you from all harm, right? And all sin. And all shame. And so that when he comes again, he would be able to literally take you with him to spend time in eternity with him. For right now, let him be your king, and let him be your leader, and let him take you, from strength to strength. And, while we're in this world, and we're looking at the situation that's taking place in this world, let's pray about it, that God may have the heart and minds of the leaders, right, of this nation, and may he grant them the spiritual understanding and humble them so that they may do his will. Having said that, let's pray. Almighty and gracious God, thank you for spare life, thank you for health, thank you for strength. Thank you for your Son, Jesus, who died on the cross of Calvary for the remission of our sins, Lord. I thank you for the people, Lord, that you have bring on this life. Lord, they're not here by chance, but here because you have ordained it. Bless and keep them and help them as they go through the remaining of this weekend, that they may contemplate these words and that they may open up their hearts and let you in and cause you to transform them and make them your own. May you be with them as they go through the rest of the week. May you continue to be with those who may hear this video, and may you help them, Lord, to understand more of what is being said, knowing that what is being said is merely lifting you up and helping them to understand that the only true king, the only person who have concerns about their well-being is you, Lord. And every earthly leader is in flesh, and we cannot rely upon flesh because the arm of flesh will fail. Bless us and keep us and grant us health and strength and vigor and vitality. Help, Lord, that we bring them back in their numbers next week by your grace, even as you preserve me to do your will next Saturday at same time, same place, ready, Lord, to stand firm in your word. In Jesus' name I ask these mercies. Amen. All right. So thank you, and may God continue to bless you and be with you as you go through the remaining portion of the days. Right. All right. Thank you for your support. Share the video. Go to YouTube Live. Go to the YouTube. Brother Sean has posted the link, and check out the other videos. Go like and subscribe. And so that, this thing, if you believe it is something, worth, if this ministry is working for you, that others may be blessed. Thank you, and may God bless you. Love you all. And Jesus love you more.